Are we live? All right, we are live. Welcome to the Three Marketeers Show. In case if you are watching the replay, this is the Three Marketeers Shows. We go live every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Malaysia time. So if you're tuning in from anywhere or from anywhere, in any part of the world, welcome to the Three Marketeers Show. So what we do here fundamentally is where, we go live every week to discuss one topic about something related to digital marketing or marketing at large. So today we have a very special guest. We have Ronald from Think Event. Now Ronald is an event strategist and certified digital event strategist thanks to the COVID. But before we bring him up, okay, just want to do a quick intro. In case you are new to the Three Marketers Show, my name is Jason. I'm a Facebook ad strategist and a business coach. I've been helping brands, big and small, navigating success on digital marketing and Facebook ads since 2010. So that's part of me. And I have my partners here, like I have beside me, wait, left, right, I don't know. That's Andrew.
Hey.
Andrew is from Malaysia. Andrew is an email conversion specialist. This guy is damn good about email. How do you actually use email to increase your revenue for your e-commerce business and whatnot? You want to talk to him. And then after that, we have Manfred. Manfred is at the top left, right? Yep. Manfred is a Singaporean. Manfred specializes in Facebook ads and digital marketing, and now TikTok. For some reason, he's in TikTok. So I was telling him that he needs to compile whatever he learned about building our TikTok presence over there. But I think this guy is having fun, right? So yeah, okay, let's see. Whoever who's here, can you quickly say hi? We have Chiwai here. What's up, Chiwai? Chiwai is always our number one commenter. Thank you so much for coming in on time with us, and welcome.
He's like your number one fan.
Yeah, it's our number one fan, and he actually appeared here twice in our show. So he's a good friend. Chiwai is a good friend. So yeah, so we're just gonna roll. But before that, I want to do a quick introduction about Ronald. Now, I met Ron 10 years back, at least 10 years. We know each other from about that long. So back then, when I was still running my digital agency, I worked with Ron in several projects about, some website development. We also went through some system development. Ron introduced us to a lot of interesting concept about event world. And that's how I got to know Ron. But, moving from a local so-called, just now we were just discussing in the backstage, right? Ron has moved on to actually play at an international arena right now. So, but basically, I think what we can actually learn from Ron today here is that he actually navigated through the pandemic in an entirely different way, and he actually did a lot of very interesting things. But before that, Ron, would you mind to share with us what exactly do you do right now, and then tell us a bit about your story, just to let our audience learn about you. But we have Jason here. Thank you. Hi, Jason. Welcome in.
Hi, Jason.
Yeah. So, okay.
Jason is my business partner from Kuching.
Awesome. Welcome, Jason.
That's
welcome.
nice.
And Ron is from Sarawak.
Yeah. So Jason and I actually co-founded this company called Conference People. We organize conferences for associations. We also curate programs. And one of the interesting things that we have done last year when the pandemic hit us, we created or developed this Tribe Digital Campus, an online platform for event professionals to upskill themselves. So we curated the program. This is actually done for or by the Sarawak Convention Bureau. So we pitched the idea, they see the value in it, and so we did it. Last year, we had a couple months of interesting webinars, and we're gonna kickstart again, I think, hopefully in August or end of August. So any event professionals out there, if you feel like you need some upskilling, sign up at Tribe Digital Campus.
Oh, all right. Tribe Digital Campus. Wait, let me bring that in.
You get the URL up so that it's easier for our audience, both from Facebook and YouTube, so that just tap, they can go in straight away.
Yeah. So while I'm actually doing that, Ron, maybe you can share with us about what is the current positioning of you right now, and because this is the part of a Tribe Digital Campus. So this is what you are focusing on right now, or is there something else? Because just now you were saying some interesting event that you were actually working on, other than the Tribe Digital Campus.
Other than Tribe Digital Campus, we still help our corporate clients to develop and also to do virtual events. So we have done launches, car launches, for example, even like a distribution center, where we did a 360 virtual tour for them last month in Klang, but we did all that virtually. Yeah, we've done medical conferences. There's a lot of things that we have gone through since last year, but mostly virtual. We've done a few hybrid events as well. I think interesting things happen after the pandemic too. It's not all things bad about the pandemic. Good things also happen out of it. Yeah.
But I think today's topic is very much surrounding how the event industry as a whole pivot through the pandemic. So yeah, that would probably, you just bring up the first topic of discussion that we have today. So what do you think? What happened really? I mean, I think the COVID has brought change to almost every industry, both for good and for bad. But the thing here is different industry will see different impact. Like, for training, it's going to be bad. For a lot of things, it's going to be different. But for event industry specifically, we realize, because when you talk about event, that means in general, how we understand events is, this is where people gather. This is where people come together to a place to attend, to actually do some talk. To attend some workshop and conferences and whatnot. That is essentially not allowed, at least for our part of the world. So how the event industry pivot through the pandemic so far?
I think before we go into that, I just want to share that the event industry is actually very broad. We have companies that just purely do exhibitions. We have companies that just do FMCG roadshows, the roadshows that you see at the concourse of shopping malls and all that. Then you get conference organizers like us, and then you have wedding experts, wedding planners, etc., etc. But if you go into the whole ecosystem of the industry, it's actually beyond the planners or what people refer us to as agencies. We have the venues, the hotels, the AV vendors, the technicians, performers. The list goes on. So 18 months, I think we're coming into the 18 months of the pandemic. We see that the industry globally has pivoted from physical to virtual and now hybrid. Zoom was the word for 2020, but I think 2021 is going to be hybrid. And then along that, we have seen a lot of new roles or positions created in this industry. Now we have new position or vacancy that I don't know whether you have heard of them, but digital experience architect or participant engagement manager.
Right.
Yeah. Or
I've heard of live stream showrunners.
Yeah. So we have the virtual show callers, virtual producers. So we have virtual music curator as well, or even health and wellness manager. But I think one position or role that is crucial is called COVID-19 compliance officer.
My goodness.
In virtual events.
Even virtual events, hybrid. This one would be hybrid, right?
It will be for hybrid. So these are the new roles or positions that actually created in the industry during this pandemic.
Okay.
That's interesting. So in a way, it's already shifting. It is kind of you can't wait for 18 months for things to happen. You definitely have to make things happen. I think that's a good thing.
I think the pandemic speed up the adoption level or the adoption rate of technologies. I mean, the technologies has always been there. What we are doing today is not much different from pre-COVID.
Yep.
Just imagine a TV show running a TV show. That's what we are doing right now.
Right.
Yeah. If you talk about augmented reality, virtual reality, or extended reality, it's always been there. It's been there before. It's just that things evolve a lot faster now. You get more new technology company, new event tech company, or event marketing tech companies that comes up every other day. And you hear some of them actually get funding, Series A, Series B, and they're doing really well. Yeah.
So how about
this?
Sorry, Andrew. You
do you see this as something that is permanent moving forward? That within a year or so, or probably, I don't know, when people have adopted to COVID, would this digital kind of level of engagement, or everybody would just drop things and just go back to physical?
I think, yeah.
I don't think
that's what people are worried,
I don't think it's going to. People were just going to drop it and go back to physical, because there are people who are actually used to the whole idea of virtual. Why hybrid is going to be the word for the year, or even for 2022, is because you still get a group of people who wants to attend event, but they want to be safe. They can't travel. So you still need virtual component within the event itself, even though it is a physical event.
Okay.
That's why we call it hybrid.
I guess in terms of, it gives you better reach now that everybody is kind of like used to it.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
From a commercial standpoint, makes sense.
Yeah. Later, I'll be sharing with you some of the example of real case studies or real events that just happened recently. You see that the reach is a lot higher.
Yeah, because you don't have the geographical boundaries anymore. That's one thing good about the whole thing right now, right? So,
and when you talk about environment friendly, it's people don't have to fly. Less carbon
actually
emission.
100%, right? You don't have to fly, and you are still getting the content anyway. You don't need to be there to listen to the person to receive the content in a way, right?
You don't have to print things anymore. No more badges, no more lanyards. Yeah.
So much
I think
more saving.
accessibility is one of the good things that came out of this COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's something that, even if we talk about hybrid event and all these things, somehow or other, it's still kind of new to our local scene. I don't know about Singapore, but maybe I didn't go out that much anymore, so I'm not that aware of all these events or whatever hybrid events and all this kind of thing. But I think that will lead us to the next question or next topic of discussion over here. I would say, for all these, how is Malaysia, players or so-called the local event industry adapt to the pandemic change compared to international players?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always believe that the event industry people are resilient bunch.
Definitely.
And we learn to adapt very quickly.
Like
basically, that's our that's what we do. We solve problems, right?
Right.
So we have to be quick. So every country has different policies, and the number of cases during that time for every country is different. So I think locally we adapt very well, and of course at our own pace. I don't think we should compare how we're doing compared to our neighbors. And we also have we have our neighbor here. So recently we also witnessed success stories like the Rainforest World Music Festival and Borneo Jazz Festival, done by organized by the Sarawak Tourism Board, managed by a dear friend from Place Borneo. So these two events have gone fully virtual. I can't remember how many years it's been for Rainforest World Music Festival, but it's a long time. And guess what? They had 400,000 attendees over the weekend because it's virtual. So in the past, when they had the physical event, I don't have the right exact figure, but I don't think we would have 100,000 attendees.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
But these are ticketed event?
These are ticketed, but it was free. So they were broadcasted out on TV stations, and also they have their own virtual event platform. Yeah. So the Borneo Jazz Festival, they had about over 200,000 attendees.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Manfred, you want to say something?
Yeah. So just want to ask, because I never attended such big scale before. So is it via Zoom, WebEx or something? If you want to take part in the event, where do you sign up?
They have their own platform, so I'm not too sure back end what they were using.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
But what are the common ones when it
Definitely
comes to this kind of big scale event? What are the common ones that people use? It can't be Zoom, right?
Nah, this is way beyond Zoom already.
This can't be Zoom, right? That's why. Yeah.
Go to a website, sign up, then get a URL, click, go in, see, and that's it. Or you want the webcam shoot, same thing like what we are doing right now. Is it something like that? The whole experience? Am I right to say that?
So for festivals or bigger events, the attendees won't be able to turn on their camera on the main stage.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
It's just a TV
So
broadcast.
you can, yes, imagine a TV broadcast, but there
broadcast.
will be sessions or areas where what we call the networking lounge, where you can actually, as attendee, turn on your camera and your microphone just to network and talk to each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Even for that kind of event also possible, or it's more for conferences?
Even that kind of event is possible. I mean, the technology is there. So there's so many, I believe there's more than 100 virtual event platforms. And since last year, I probably have sit in 60 demos of different platforms.
Whoa. Okay. At the
Yeah.
moment, we only know Zoom and StreamYard lah. That's all. And Google
we,
Meet.
we are like level 1.
So what you
like
have
level
now
1.
is good enough.
So I interrupt a bit. I'm interested in the networking part. So I've been through a few before. So I assume you attend to a speaker, listen to a talk, finish already. Then among maybe the 100 or 1,000 people, there will be a lot of breakout session. Automatically, maybe say example, one breakout room has 6%. Example, so you try to network within the 6%, and maybe 10 minutes you'll swap to another, jump out another group, something like that.
Yes.
Is it?
You have that speed dating format where every 6 minutes or 10 minutes, then you will be, you rotate and join another group.
Yep.
So there's also feature where visually you will see there are different tables around, and you can actually join those tables and have discussions.
Okay.
And at the same time, you can actually label these tables.
Also, the topic at the
yes,
table,
with topics. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. It's seriously something that beyond my imagination. To be frank, I never actually went through anything like that.
Yeah. The logistic must be.
We can work together and organize something.
Oh, definitely,
that'd be
we're in
cool.
for that.
That'd be cool, yes.
Especially our friend here, like Andrew. This guy's very excited about doing event. He came up with the idea the other day. We wanted to do this like 3 marketers and friends. I think I shared with you, right? Wow, we run it with StreamYard. Wow, I tell you, it's quite a crazy experience. Definitely something, and we want to seek advice from you about what are the things that we can do about
that'd be cool. For an experiment, yes, why not? I mean, life is short, man. So my next question is, when COVID started, then you have local coaches. They were thinking, okay, now they were struggling to go online because mostly are very good on doing physical events, face-to-face teaching and all these things. And while they open up the so-called the doors to a bigger audience, what they also realized is it also opened up competitors from overseas, right? Majority of the participants, rarely go online, and the moment they got used to it, then they got exposed to different coaches and trainers. They realized that out in the world, there are a lot more trainers, a bit more bigger names and all those things. Would the same happen in your industry now, where, it doesn't happen to you because you're already playing on an international level, but the local players who have been good or strong in Malaysia or Singapore, and all of a sudden, now you've got other bigger players come in and doing the same thing, and at the technological level that is way beyond that. How do you address for local players? How do you meet? Because now the competition is no longer Malaysia.
Yeah, it's global competition. That's a very good question.
It's a very sensitive question.
It's a very sensitive question. So the competition. Sorry, Ron.
It's late night. Not many people watch.
Okay. No, it's okay if you don't want to answer.
Business,
but I think, to whatever level that you can address this thing, right? Do you think the competition hits us a bit as like the local players? But of course, hitting us is one thing. Like we said, we are resilient people, right? We buck up really fast, and we can actually adopt all these things fast. I don't think it's a big problem.
So I think price war has always been an issue in Malaysia industry, in Malaysia's event industry.
Right.
Yeah.
As in anything.
Just like any other industry as well.
Like any
it's something that we can't avoid. So to me, I will never go on a price war. To me, I will always show the value that we can add to the client's project.
But I think to actually
But how
help
do you
address
level
the
up?
level of service that we
Assuming,
can provide.
right. So how do you level up let's
Sorry, go
assume
ahead.
the price war, there's no price war, but then it's like, I'm playing football in a little field, and all of a sudden now I have to play with different national teams.
your EPL there,
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
It's like, what the hell?
But
I don't get to play football at all.
Yeah, but you have to also think that now the market is it's
Bigger.
limitless.
Yeah, that's true.
Half of our clients are non-Malaysian still, so we still run virtual events or even webinars for our
Right.
clients who are non-Malaysians. So with virtual, you are not limited to where you are. So it's the same thing when I share with my peers in Sarawak. We are no longer just serving the Sarawakian clients, for example. We can go beyond Sarawak. Likewise, we can go beyond Malaysia. What is stopping you? You don't have to see your client in their office because they don't go to the office anyway. They work from home. So
that's a good one.
that makes no difference.
I diverge a bit. So just interrupt. So you talk about international audience. So, say example, now it's Singapore, Malaysia time. You're going to have difficulty attracting the US audience because the time zone is really opposite. So these are the challenges. How are you going to overcome and attract the US audience or maybe the European audience to come to your virtual event?
So there is no, so far as what I know, there is no right formula of hitting the right time zone where every time zone will be able to watch. So you need to sacrifice one or two. Okay. You can't have it all. But the good thing about going virtual is that you can actually curate your program where your keynote speaker can appear twice live, for example. Or, all the sessions are on demand. So if you know that you will have less market in, for example, in US, you have more market in Europe. Of course, then you focus more on the European time and the Asia time. Yeah.
Definitely the time zone, Singapore, China, and Malaysia, and of course Australia. The time zone
APAC is easier.
That one you definitely have to serve. So you have to choose either or. Okay.
Yeah,
Then
your either or is always the US market or the Europe market.
So do you do records of replay? Say example, make it 24 hours. Then maybe you serve the Europe one, then you do the replay for the US audience. Will that work or not? Say as I invited you to.
So we have seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, we have seen that as well. We have seen that. We have seen people trying to do 24 hours role, and then the recording, you can still watch it after. But most virtual events are all recorded. As you stream live, you will be recorded anyways. So it depends on the organizer, but logically you can have it on demand. Yeah.
But of course, the question part Q&A doesn't work because the US audience, by the time they watch replay, they can ask questions already
Yes.
So the quality will a bit lagging Okay.
But I think
so
I can have
a different experience if you watch an on demand, of course.
Of course.
I can chip in a bit about this because on and off we do have audiences coming from the other part of the world like Europe, US, even Canada and all that. When I was doing live training, remember. So for that kind of case, I would agree with Ron. We just have to focus on the majority.
The largest market that you serve, that's
So somehow we still need
like everything
pay,
else.
right?
You can't please everyone.
Yeah, obviously.
True. That's very true.
Someone have to stay up late night to watch World Cup. That's confirmed. Okay.
Like World Cup, you can't do anything. That depends on where you're actually holding
you
it.
You can stay up to watch Premier League. Same thing.
True.
Yeah, I did once watching all the World Cups. That was like many years ago. It's like when I was younger. Crazy.
Yeah, I think I want to divert back to the question that Andrew brought up just now. Despite we are going international, we are competing, but it's a different way of looking at it, right? We can compete internationally also. So you are still able to find your market, one thing. And the other thing here is, even you are competing with the international players, but one way or another, we still have the local, so-called locality kind of like whatever it is, right? That people may not understand. Even international players, they try to come over, they may not understand our culture.
Correct.
So that will actually add certain, barrier of entry, even though they have a better price, even though they have a better technology. For some reason, I believe everybody will still have their way to actually, thrive in the market.
But that's where your Tribe Digital
Yes.
Campus come into play, right? To help local players to so-called level up and gain the necessary experience.
Yeah, that's a very interesting Tribe Digital Campus. So guys, if you are only for event players, Ron, or is it open for anyone else?
I mean, it's
What
open
are
to
the
everyone, but then
criterias?
the content is very driven towards events, associations, and
Right.
events. Yeah.
Association and events. Yes, I think that's the keyword. So guys, anyone, please share with anyone who needs help. As in, this is a very good initiative, I must say. So that's
So
where we
we
actually
have
come in.
the on demand for last year's sessions, so they can learn about, for example, if they are from the association, they can learn how to gain more revenue during pandemic, for instance, or how can they level up in terms of the branding and image. And
Okay.
last year was the right time because everyone sort of have more free time. So
Now still, we still
Not really.
Not
last
really,
year
right?
last year was the honeymoon year, but
Not
last
to
year
say
was
honeymoon,
more
kind of like a lost year because we do not know what to do and we were waiting for things to come back. We believe
Correct.
that it will come back, and we were wrong, right? For so many years, for so many months. But let me actually go back to the comments. I actually missed that now. And Chiwa was saying there are also some holding areas or rooms of different categories for attendees to mingle. I believe yes, like what Ron was saying, you can pick rooms or you can actually do the kind of like a speed dating thing, right? But that's a good one. I personally never experienced. Maybe you'll do something, right? Chiwa, are you excited? We want to do that, right? And Intan was saying, Intan say hi. Hi, Intan. And Chiwa say
Hi,
back.
Intan.
Yeah, thanks, Chiwa. And we have Ao Yong here.
Whoa.
Ao Yong say, that's a long one. That's why I wanted to bring this up. Kind of like need to read a bit. And both of us got sunk. Cannot see our face. Now you see my eyes can already.
never mind, man. We are not
Price
important.
war. Okay, so price war is
question is
definitely
important.
something happening in an event. Some say agencies struggle. I think the client these days does not appreciate as their budget is way too low. As such, the rate is really going lower, forcing our agency to throw price. Just point of view. I think that's a very interesting point of view. What do you think, Ron?
I agree that the corporate clients or the clients actually is one of the cause of the price war.
Yeah.
The clients.
The clients can be one of the factor. How should I put it?
Well, I think it's just addressing. I mean, he's just sharing his opinion. I think we just have to look at that. But Ao Yong has a question anyway.
That's a valid one, anyways.
Yeah, that's a valid one. So I, respect that. But Ao Yong
Above
has
the line or below the line advertising.
event is 400 below the line session. That's something that definitely Ron would have to step in.
I would actually consider that as a below the line.
Below the line?
The BTL.
But maybe we can get a bit of 101 from you. What is ATL? What is BTL? In case our audience needs a bit of like a 101 over here.
This is
Above
very
the line.
advertising. Above the
Very
line.
advertising. This is not event.
Yeah, not events.
This is
But
not
then
event, Ao Yong.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's
prior to
also-
COVID, it was below the line because it's fulfillment. But I think with COVID in place, I think it's moving towards more above the line because if you don't do this, you're
become
not
like a
going to get
TV
hurt.
show.
Yeah. You don't get seen, you don't get hurt, you don't get no longer get in the minds of the audience.
Agree.
I think that's a transition.
I think that's a valid one. Yeah.
Something that
Andrew,
I'll research on.
Yeah.
Good
Andrew
question.
come from advertising, way back he was in actually the newspaper advertising part, right?
Yeah.
So that's
My
past life. That's
Past
past life.
life.
But thanks for the question, Ao Yong. I hope we answer your question. in
But I
one way or
think
another.
just to add on to Ao Yong's question, I think Jason, we had this discussion before, during COVID, and Rod is a very clear example. The world is your oyster now, and if the local players or the local market is kind of constrained, there's nothing to actually stop you to go international. Or even regionally, you don't have to go international. Regionally, Asia has about 600 million people. They are quite close, and the culture is similar. Yes, language is slightly different. But if you open up and look at, or any local players look at the world as your market, then you can compete, because out of 7 billion people, there will be somebody who would fit your price point. Question is, how do you get your word out there?
I agree. Yeah, Manfred.
I'm not trying to be a wet blanket here. Based on the e-commerce past experience, using e-commerce point of view, you say Southeast Asia, all various countries has their own little norms and cultural barriers. You want to enter Thailand, you want to enter Vietnam, or you want to enter Philippines, all different ball games. It's not easy. Okay, but I'm not saying Andrew is wrong. I'm just saying that the direction is correct. But when you go down to do the execution, it's a totally another story already. Right, Ron? Will you agree? No?
I think that's where collaboration should come in. Yeah. So we have we have offices in Singapore, Bangkok, and also Seoul, South Korea. So if we have any event in these cities, we will have the offices there to handle. We will have local, for example, in Bangkok, we will have our partners who are Thai, who can speak Thai, who will manage the clients in Thailand. But recently, we also have requests to do recordings and all that, the green screen recordings in Europe. And because of the network of partners that we have around the world, it's easy for us to just give our partners in that particular city a call and say, hey, we need to do this in your city. Can you help us out?
Right.
Yeah. I don't think that there is anything that one person can do it all.
Yeah.
So collaboration is very important, and it's how you find the right partners and to be on the right platform.
I think that's important nowadays. Yeah.
Partnership, collaboration. I totally agree. Like, to address Manfred's question, anyone who wants to enter different market, you don't really need to enter yourself. In a way, you can just find somebody to actually partner up. Like recently, I received a lot of inquiries. Anyone wants to want to be a distributor for Singapore market, Malaysia market, for some of the very premium so-called products, you can talk to me. I have a few on my hand. Wants to look for local partners. I forgot to announce this among my community. But then, nonetheless, if you're in e-commerce and you're open to bring in some of the good products or established brands from Philippines, at the moment we have a few. You can talk to me. But nonetheless, collaboration, I think that's the key. I think we want to bring back to the topic, very much to the digital part of the event management kind of thing. I remember the other day when we were having our chat, right, Ron, you mentioned a lot of people kind of like mix up between virtual event and webinar, because they were thought that, by doing webinar or Zoom webinar kind of thing, it's already a virtual event. But you sort of like gave me a different definition. Can you actually help us a little bit? What's the difference between these things? I thought it's the same. I thought it's the same. Yeah.
Okay. Not everybody will agree with the way I interpret it, but
but it's your show today, so it's fine.
No, if you disagree, then I'll
as you know,
there.
webinars are essentially online seminars. That's how you get webinars, right?
Okay.
Web seminars, so webinars. Right. So people actually watch videos or presentations or lectures from experts, and they can actually ask questions through Q&A or the chat.
Yep.
But a virtual event has the interactive live session. And if you were to compare a webinar and a virtual event, webinar is usually not more than 3 hours.
Okay.
But a virtual event is basically taking an offline event, convert it into online. So you see multiple hours, multiple sessions, and a virtual event would definitely have bigger reach compared to a webinar. You will have more diverse offerings, such as in the virtual events, you get networking sessions or networking opportunities. You will have better sponsorship opportunities. You get more options in terms of the audience engagement. So if you go on webinar platforms such as can't think of one now. Crowdcast, maybe? Or Big Marker
Right.
webinar.
Okay.
You don't get
So-
a lot of features unless you go on to a virtual event.
So,
So can-
webinar
yeah.
is like performing in a local pub, whereas virtual event is live aid.
So
Would that be?
Trying to grasp what you say, seriously.
Yeah.
Trying to grasp. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Manfred,
Yes, Manfred.
So I use an example. If I pay ticket for Tony Robbins' show, I want to listen to him talking. So it should be classified under virtual event or webinar.
Ah, that's a good example. Yeah, right.
okay.
I'm attending his talk. He's going to brainwash me with all his.
Hey, wrong word.
Okay, sorry.
You
Okay.
paid to be brainwashed.
I paid. I'm going for
Don't blame
his
him.
talk.
I've not been to his
Like,
event.
example only, not necessarily.
Yeah,
must
I
be
know.
Tony Robbins, yeah.
I've not been to motivation talk.
You don't need
usually-
motivation, I need.
Manfred needs motivation. That's something new.
You are. Really, Manfred?
Yeah. Sometimes.
So
sometimes.
okay, sorry.
So for that kind of event, or should I say event or webinar? How do I classify?
I think it's more like a virtual.
I would call it a virtual event because it requires the interaction or the response from the audience more.
Yeah, although you don't need to do it, but they will ask you to raise your hand and all this kind of thing.
Right.
I think that's more like an event thing,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
A webinar will be more, for example, a doctor is presenting a case studies,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
He is sharing,
Mm.
and
Then
audience
the question
just ask
have to
question
via
Correct.
typing only lah. You
Oh,
can't really
yeah.
talk to him. Say, hey, can you tell me elaborate more about this A, B, and C? You can't really talk.
There
Under-
are platforms that allow you to do that, but
Right.
Uncommon.
essentially a webinar, no, you have
Webinar,
very
the star
limited-
is still okay.
you have very limited what do you call features or functions for webinars.
Okay.
Whereas a virtual event, for example, if you take Tony Robbins sessions, it will be multiple days.
Ah.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
So anything
Although
that
he
involves
is the only
multiple
one.
days. So yeah, anything that involves multiple days can also categorize as a virtual event, not really a webinar anymore.
I guess
Because
the
if
scale
we-
of the production also comes into play,
Correct.
right?
Yes,
Oh.
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
that's a very interesting concept because to me it's all, I don't really also understand webinar because I never really attend. But Manfred, what
But
you
you
saying?
also
Virtual
get-
event also, like say example, maybe Tesla new launch of the car. You can put the moving banner behind.
That's a virtual event already by
virtual event already. The
by-
car,
A launch will
case.
be a virtual event.
virtual
Yeah.
event.
and the
Yeah.
breakdown of the car, so on and so forth.
Right.
Then show videos.
It'll be an event. Even
Yeah.
though it's a launch event of like 3 hours or less than 3 hours, it is still considered an event.
Virtual events. Okay.
Yeah, because basically you're taking an offline event to online. But webinars is more of sharing presentations.
One-way communication
one,
kind of thing.
one to
Yes.
many lah. One to many.
Right.
So that's webinar. Virtual
How
event
do
is
you-
And
Yeah. How do you manage the myriad of technologies involved? I mean, I can imagine webinar is quite straightforward. Any one of us here probably can run it. But virtual events,
Mm.
the amount of talent required, the amount of technology required and integration, that's going to be crazy, isn't it?
you need to have very good technology partner who knows what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the essential must-have when you're running a virtual event?
Oh, yeah, that's
Laptops.
good, right?
Yeah, let's say we are going for like normal virtual event. Let's say you talk about
At
launch.
least 2 or 3 cameramen or something like that.
It depends on the program itself. If let's say if you're doing a virtual event, but you have the speakers, everyone who is involved on stage, it's a live thing where you need to have video camera, then you need a camera team. So there is also virtual events where everybody is remote, meaning to say the speakers are all at their own home or offices as well.
Right.
Yeah, because of, like for example, the restrictions that we have now, nobody can go to work.
Okay.
Yeah, so it all depends on the scenario. But essential, I think it's not just the hardware that you need to have, but you need to really know technology and how to use the technology. What features do you have? Like I mentioned, there are over 100 different event platforms out there. Like Zoom is evolving from a meeting platform. Now they are going into events.
Webinars.
So they're gonna have so they have webinars. So they are launching, or I don't know whether they have launched the event platform where you're gonna have like sponsors logos, sponsors ads, exhibitions, and all that. A full-fledged, multiple days, multiple tracks.
Wow.
So
when you say
everyone's heading
full
towards
day,
the direction.
okay, so when you say multiple day, multiple tracks, help me, Ron. Our 3 marketers and friends, the one we did like bringing 10 speakers together where we managed like hell, went through like a 6 hours sitting in front of the camera. That is virtual event or webinar.
Webinar, right?
You have different topics, right?
Yes.
We have different topics,
10 different speakers break out into different topics. So it's a half an hour interval kind of thing.
There's a host and a
That's
guest
virtual
all
event.
the time.
Yeah.
It's virtual event, right?
It's a virtual event kindergarten level.
Hey, but we pull through, no joke, we pull through. Then after that night sleep like what? No clue.
Yeah,
So
it can be crazy to do stuff like this.
It's not easy.
Not
it's
easy.
definitely, but it's worth doing, I must say, it's worth doing. Next time we do 50, then we don't know.
With Ron's guidance, we can do bigger. At least we don't make the stupid mistakes that we made, I guess.
I think that's a very interesting one, Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Chiwa was saying you see me switching here and there, switching rooms. Yeah. That's a very interesting one, right? Yeah.
I think you can have 6 hours per day, but you just need to have the right platform.
Chiwa say it's a marathon, right? So we did live marathon in a way, so that's a crazy one. Anyway, we have a few things coming here. So we have Fiona saying Fiona miss working in event. Wow. Okay. So that's the good one.
I miss working in live event.
Yeah, and Aoyong is saying
attending live events too.
Yeah, attending is fun. So Aoyong is also saying he's looking forward to the traditional event that can be back, to save the event industry, especially more than 300 packs, big small agency in Klang Valley alone, right? 300 packs, 300 big small agencies. Oh, there are that many, 300 plus big small agency Klang Valley alone.
I think we have more than
lot,
we
Wow.
have a lot of event companies.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And then Jason came in and say another way to look at virtual event is small layers on ongoing activities. Okay. Network engagement.
Right.
That's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, I think that's a
good one.
That's a very good one, to help us understand this thing. Anyway, thanks everybody who participated. And I want to really bring back to the topic over here as, let's see how many we have actually covered. So we talk about the virtual event versus webinar. Oh, I heard you mention this word at least 4 times now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 4 times or 5 times, I was
Let's dive into this one.
Let's dive into this. What the hell is hybrid event?
Right.
How does it work?
Runs on electricity and fuel.
Okay. Let's take Wimbledon 2021 as an example.
Okay.
Oh,
No, I would love to be there in person, but I'm also comfortable watching it at home. So that is more or less a hybrid environment.
How is this so?
So Olympic
Because
as well.
you have audience. Not the current Olympic, because the current Olympic don't have a physical in-person audience. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the stadiums are empty. Yes.
Yeah. So if you look at Euro 2020, the recent football. Sorry, I'm not a football person.
No,
Or
not
any sports tournament.
Okay.
You have the live audience who is at the stadium.
Yes.
You also have the home audience who is watching.
As in anything. Like
Is it
watch
anything?
any live
All the while
events,
EPL is also like that, and all this.
I was watching the Euro. I was like saying, "What the hell, man? People out there mingling without masks, and here we are cooped up at home. It's what?
Yeah, and
is wrong with this
17,000,
world,
right?
man?
What the hell?
So you
60,
can,
70,000 people. Yeah.
I think that's how I would explain hybrid.
Okay.
Right.
But is there a difference between watching live on TV with this?
Of course, you be there, then you feel that, man. If you watch live
No,
on
I
TV,
see.
then you're like
I said,
sipping wine and
if
all
I'm
that.
watching Wimbledon on TV in the pre-COVID days, what's the difference? I don't get it.
Actually, it's the same, right? Hybrid didn't change much, right? I would say, in a way.
No, I think maybe just to give you an example.
So
You guys probably heard of Russell Brunson. He has his annual funnel hacking live. Previously, it was a live event. That means 3,000 people converge into a venue that he chose in US from all over the world, and then you attend an event as in any other seminars and all the stuff for 3 days or 5 days or something like that. And this year, he's doing a hybrid event where you have people coming in for that price ticket. I think it was 1997 or something like that. And also, you have people who can sign up for the virtual event because they cannot travel. The price is still the same, 1997. So you get to watch. The camera is basically capturing it live for you, but at the same time, you also get to network with people over on the stage, and also people attending it live through stuff like breakout rooms and all those things. So that will be a clear example of a hybrid event, isn't it? You have
Is it hybrid or virtual event now?
it's a hybrid because you have
It's a hybrid.
virtual audience and you also
Yes.
have in-person audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because US can go to events now, ma.
US
There's
can.
no restriction. So
US can.
the US folks can go and attend the event live. The people like us in Asia or any other parts of the world, we will pay the same price, but we will watch through the virtual environment. But we get to interact with as if we are there.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the interaction part is the one. So Intan actually says this siaran langsung, which is like a live broadcast, similar. But what Andrew say here is, when you're actually watching just live, right, you're missing the interaction part of
Yeah.
part of the
You're
whole
just
thing.
watching,
Yeah. So
but you're
that would-
participating as well.
But that will also make a virtual, as in like a hybrid event. As long as, to understand from Ron's perspective, as long as you have a, live audience versus the so-called the tuning in audience, that makes it kind of like a more or less a broadcast. Hybrid.
Hybrid.
Yes, but then you must be able to allow the in-person attendees and the virtual attendees to also connect and network with each other.
Oh, let them mingle.
That's important.
Ah,
That's
That's
important.
key because in events, I think the key thing of the main point of attending an event, besides the knowledge, is actually the networking.
Absolutely.
Right. 100%.
So you
Yep.
cannot remove that from the equation. You will still need to ensure that they are able to network together, regardless whether they are in person at the event on site or they are, watching virtually from home.
Right. That makes sense.
So the same thing, if you have exhibitors, the exhibitors must be able to have a booth at the convention center, for example. But at the same time, they also need to be able to cater to the virtual audience.
Yes.
I think that explains. Got it.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
the programming part is the tricky part,
That's true.
the content. Because, for example, if you attend a live event and you announce the arrival of so-and-so, our ministers, for example, normally you will stand up and then, the minister walked in or another speaker will walk up the stage. But if you are at home, you do not want to see that. You don't need to see them switching the stage. You don't need to see them, changing the furniture on stage, for example.
Yeah.
So what are you going to give to the virtual audience to see?
For sure.
So that's where I would say you need to be very clever with the programming when it comes to a hybrid. You don't want to make it boring for your virtual audience. Like, okay, they are moving the chairs.
True.
Correct.
True. Yeah. And Jason was actually chipping in and said that in a sporting event, you can't beat the live experience. However, home audience would have better camera angle. For sure. You won't be able to do this kind of like bird eye view and whatnot, right? But which you can't see in a stadium, okay? Unless the stadium has devices, just like F1, same goes to hybrid. Both set attendees need to be taken care of. Okay, that we got it. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
And then Intan was saying, like siaran langsung, which is the live broadcasting, has no interaction with audience, but hybrid has an audience, has interaction.
Absolutely,
That's
you're correct, Intan.
That's correct, Intan. That's correct. I think that's something that we I actually never heard of. Kind of like hybrid event.
Not
Never thought of
easy
it,
to
but
set up, no. Not easy.
Well, that's why you have people like Ron here.
that's why you have Ron.
Not us, not the three of us, right?
Yeah, cannot. I've
And
been
you
doing
also have
one
hybrid.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes, Ron.
you also have
Sorry,
event
you
where it
break a bit, Ron. You need to come
concurrently-
back.
Yeah.
You
One more time.
All right, can you hear me now?
can you
Yes,
repeat?
okay.
Yeah. Can you repeat
One more
what you
time.
said just now?
So there's also hybrid event where it happened concurrently in different cities.
Oh.
So you do like a siaran langsung, but
Right.
cross.
Wait,
Wow, how did that happen?
how? I mean, I don't get it.
For example, the Asians can travel within Asia,
All right.
Yes.
but you also have a group of audience in Europe.
Okay.
So you can actually have the event in both cities. So the program will do crossover. There will be certain segment that is actually hosted on the stage in London, for example.
Right. For
And then
Europe.
there's certain program, it will be hosted in Bangkok or Singapore.
Right.
Like New Year countdown.
Okay. Funny thing, you never mentioned Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, Kuala Lumpur for that.
Anyway.
I think it's okay.
Oh, that's
I mean,
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
That's
okay.
Beyond us. Let's be honest.
Be honest, man.
Let's be honest. That's why. Wow, awesome, man! Learn so much thing. Yeah. So basically, that we have a better understanding about hybrid, and you have kind of like a cross geographical hybrid. Wow, that's kind of like
So
my
there will be
even
a
in skill
control
sets-
center lah. There will be a control center controlling which one to
Yeah.
show up lah.
So in skill sets, if you do a hybrid environment or virtual event, you are more of a TV producer.
Yes, you have to
Rather
think like a
than
TV
event.
producer.
Yeah, because you got to cut over, you got to
Yes.
switch.
That's right.
Okay. Wow, sounds exciting.
kind of get it. Yeah, sounds
exciting.
sounds technical. Sounds we need to hire Ron to do this. That kind of thing. It sounds like that. Okay. So anyway, I think that would actually address back to our own
Back down to earth.
Fiona's
Back
question.
to
Let's
earth.
come back to earth where we understand.
back to
things over again. But Ron, what is your take? Do you think we are ready for big scale physical event again anytime soon? I mean, judging from the number in Malaysia and Singapore is also kind of like rising in one way, and Thailand is out of the world also like us. What do you think? Because the other day we were discussing that you talk about some policy over here, like for certain time, right? Events were not allowed, but night market was allowed. But you were saying, event, if we actually do it in a proper way, in fact, there is no cluster coming from it because you have stricter control. Everything is so much well done in terms of SOP and all that. But I mean, your opinion, are we ready for this thing? And how ready are we on this thing?
I believe that we are. Malaysia is ready for small scale, big scale event if it's done properly.
Right.
And of course, maybe 80% of the population is fully vaccinated. Or if let's say you have a policy that if you are fully vaccinated, only then you can attend the event, for example. I'm sure most Malaysians would know this huge exhibition called Home Deck.
Home Deck, Malaysia,
Yeah.
KL.
Malaysia, in KL,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I think it's been around for many years, as long as I can remember. And they did a physical exhibition in April this year
Oh,
at
okay.
TLCC. And it's a
Okay.
big scale exhibition,
Right.
but they have proper SOPs in place. So as long as the stakeholders take the safety of the participants, the organizers, the speakers, or vendors, or even the staff at the venue seriously, follow SOPs, follow the guideline, have things in place, I think we are ready. I mean,
Especially
if Home
for
Deck- yeah,
so-
correct.
especially for paid event, I guess the crowd is a bit more easy to manage. If you do a free event, then it could be a bit more messy.
Mm,
Would
I
that be-
believe
would that
if-
be the case?
I don't have any exhibition background, But I believe that the exhibition companies, they are experienced enough to actually see, because they all have the data. We all have data of our kind of events, right? We know how, more or less, how our target audience behave. For example, like, because we do a lot of doctors events as well, so we basically understand how healthcare professionals would react.
Right.
Whether they are more on mobile devices or they will actually log onto the event on laptop, as simple as that. We know, and we have the data. So that also helps us to decide what platform to use. So same thing for exhibition organizers. They have the data. They know how to manage their audience. And I totally believe that as long as they have the right SOPs, the right processes in place. For example, instead of doing a 2 days exhibition, you can actually do 4, 5, or 6 days exhibition so that you can spread the crowd.
Okay.
That makes sense. You do a limitation now.
Correct. And you can always have an X number of people within a certain space. So that can be managed.
I agree.
So I feel that we are ready, provided we have, majority of the people are vaccinated.
True. And when we are allowed to. Thanks, Ron.
Looking forward to
I mean, yeah, definitely, man. It's been a while. Really look forward to that. But anyway, I think that will probably bring us to the next topic over here. But I think that's the quick one. We want to pick your mind. Basically, what's your view about the future trend of, the event industry post-COVID? Let's say if it happens soon. Anyway, now it's damn COVID still here. But post-COVID, what would happen? Are we gonna go back to, like everybody will rush back to this physical thing, or what is gonna happen? What do you think?
I think that even when the world return to normal or whatever that may, ever be, the event industry has already changed by the pandemic. The way we organize events, the way we plan, the way we create engagement, for example. So working from home and not traveling is probably gonna, still be, it's definitely gonna stay. It may not be for everyone, but there'll be definitely a group of people who prefer to just stay at home. Yeah. So I think no matter how many people have been vaccinated or how low the cases of COVID during the time of the event, there'll be people who feel uncomfortable attending event with people or crowd.
Yeah, there's this fear of crowd now, I guess.
Correct. So the virtual component, will stay. I think the virtual component will stay, and that's why I would say that the future is definitely going to be hybrid.
Right.
I think you're spot on that. Makes sense.
Hybrid. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I totally agree. Like, I'm not coming back to the normal one anymore. It's kind of like already.
It's just like asking you to go back and do live classes. What the
No.
hell?
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Like your live classes now, you can actually reach out to more people, more non-Malaysians who can actually benefit from your classes, right, Jason?
Yeah.
He's a classic case now. He's teaching to 27 countries. Students from 27
it's a success
countries.
story. That's a success story. It's a
absolutely.
good positive thing that came out from this pandemic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, definitely one of the things which I would agree to what Ron shared. Basically, there will be a bunch of people who just won't go back. Whatever, no matter what, our life is changed by the pandemic. So it's
we
gonna
see
be
a lot of advantages too. For example, you have wider reach. You can increase your audience, and having a virtual component in the physical event also promote inclusivity. You can include people who have difficulty to move around, right? And also, a virtual event can also cater to people with hearing issues with
True.
the live captioning feature that you can have on the platform.
Right.
That's very
Then
true.
you
That's
also
something-
open up more networking opportunities, more sponsorship
Yep.
opportunities. It's better for the environment. And the data that you can collect through a virtual component, it's much
Oh, that's
more
enormous.
than a physical event.
Yeah, that's very true.
And you know how data is,
Oh, yes.
there's so much you
That's
can
a gold
actually
mine.
derive from data.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, I mean that's
Interesting.
definitely, we definitely agree. Everybody would agree. But okay, now before we go, I mean before we hit to the last part, which is we're gonna.
Well,
have
that's 1 hour
website.
already. That's all. So
Yeah, it's
fast.
1 hour. But I think one thing we would like to definitely pick Ron's mind over here. Is there anything else that you would like to share with local event peers? Be it be about change, be it about whatever it is. What would be your any opinion sharing and whatnot to the local peers?
I'm a true believer of collaboration. So reach out to, potential industry partners and find the right one and collaborate. I mean, it's not easy to find a good partner or the right partner. So there's always like a dating courtship between two in order to find the right partner. So collaborate. I think collaborate will be the key thing to help us to get through this pandemic. Leverage on each other's strength and also experience. And I think now is the right time to upskill, learn, unlearn, and relearn. And last thing, I think it's take care of our mental health.
Oh, I like the last one. That's take care of the mental health. All right, I think that will bring us to the the last part of the show, which I want to quickly bring up. There is an app that during our little chat the other day, a quick chat, Ron shared one very interesting so-called app. I haven't really started using it because I'm just gonna put it there, and I wanted to start after Ron shared with us. But I'm gonna bring this up. Maybe Ron, you can help us understand a bit about this thing, like what it does, and So I don't know how to pronounce this. It sounds like
I think it's called
Oh,
MMHMM, like
that's
like let me actually this is the website of the week. But Ron, what is this?
yeah. Make an impression on video. Right.
Basically, it will act as your virtual camera, and then you can actually have, just like Zoom, you can have different virtual background.
Okay.
But at the same time, your slides and presentation can be on your background as well, and then you can actually go into a different different shape. I think there will be
Different shape, as in like this.
where you will be in a circle on
Okay. Okay.
overlay on your
As
slides.
in like you can choose wherever you want to show yourself.
Oh, well, that's new. Well, that's cool.
You can actually make your Zoom meeting more interesting too. Yeah.
So it's not just Zoom, right? You mentioned that you can also use this to come live on StreamYard.
Yeah, because it's a virtual camera.
Yeah, it's a
just
virtual cam.
it's a camera source.
Yeah.
So instead of
you-
connecting to your webcam, you connect to this one.
But you need
I
to
think-
have a more powerful computer or laptop
Right.
I think
because
mine's
you're
gonna
running
come with
two. Yeah.
It's almost like Ecamm Live already.
something similar to Ecan, right?
Similar
Yes.
to Ecamm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's a lot more interesting because it allows you to overlay your slide at the back. I think that's
Yeah.
one I.
Yeah.
Ecan also
So
can do that.
Microsoft Teams started that now. They just
Okay.
launched. Yeah.
And it's not that very expensive. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Like how much would that be? $8 a month
Oh man.
for 1 year subscription is like no brainer, man. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm going to try it out.
Yeah. So I think
But
this
there's
is
a lot
very
of filters that you can play with as well. Yeah.
Oh, you check that out. You can actually let
Yeah.
the slide
So
come out.
that's how you.
Wow, that's
Okay.
quite interesting.
Okay.
And we have a new toy.
Now you got me
Andrew has a
hooked.
new toy.
Now you got me hooked. Yes.
Okay,
Besides
so
drawing
Try
on
the free
air.
one first.
yeah, maybe you can
that's
try the
from
free
there.
one first and play
The
with it.
free one you can use for an hour a day.
Oh, that's good. That's
good
good.
enough. Like
Yeah.
for my half an hour live, we can use that. I think
We can, we can do that for our live.
the half an hour one. That'll be cool.
Okay, cool.
So that's the
Compatible
website of
with
the week.
Wax also. Yeah.
Yeah. Courtesy.
Ron, thank you so
Ron.
much.
Yeah, thank
No
you so
problem.
much
Give
for
us a
sharing
new
this.
Happy to
toy.
share.
That's a good one. So, all right, that brings us to the end of the show. So this is a Three Marketeers show. For those who are staying up to now, thank you so much for staying. If you're watching the replay, you're actually watching the Three Marketeers show where Andrew, Manfred, and I actually goes live every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. to discuss one topic about digital marketing and beyond. So I am not sure who is our guest next week, but nonetheless, stay
We
tuned
will
on
have somebody. Yeah.
yeah, we would have somebody, usually we have. But if you don't have somebody, then we will get into even more interesting discussion. Because when we don't have somebody, that means
Facebook.
the three of us talk nonsense even. I mean, anyway, so
Right.
yeah, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're actually watching this from YouTube, which is my YouTube channel, or you can actually watch it live on my Facebook page. You can look for Jason Gunn. So that's where we go live every Wednesday. But you can also follow Manfred and Andrew respectively on Facebook and everywhere. And that's where we actually go live. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining us, Ron. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
We and Ron are going to go backstage and scheme for a virtual
man.
event.
Yeah, I'll probably scheme for something. I don't know. Maybe the next Three Marketeers and Friends will be something more interesting than the damn marathon where I run around like mad, right? So yeah. Okay, and we have Jason here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jason.
Jason, and
Thank
we
you for
look
the
forward
support,
to
Jason.
we will actually definitely learn a lot more from different people and each other. Thank you so much, and we're gonna end this one, and we're gonna go backstage. And guys, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.